Salut tout le monde, aujourd'hui je reçois Fermah, Vanishree de Fermah. How are you?
Very good. Bonjour.
Bonjour. Can you present a bit yourself? What are you doing in Fermah and what brings you to Fermah? Your past experience in Web 2, Web 3 maybe?
Sounds good. So I'm the founder and CEO of Fermah. Fermah is a universal proof market. And my background is in cryptography. From the time I knew tech, from the time I thought about tech, I have loved cryptography. I think the moment I got introduced to cryptography was back in the day when I was a little kid back in India. And that was the time when I was doing my undergrad, and there was no cryptography being taught or anything, right? And my professor, my math professor at that time, he was doing his PhD in cryptography at a very top university, very top institute in India, Indian Institute of Science. And he told me about zero knowledge proofs. And since then, I don't know what else to do except zero knowledge proofs. I cannot imagine my life without zero knowledge proofs.
Yeah.
I've dedicated myself towards, I just want to do zero knowledge proofs. After that, did my PhD at UCLA in the US with Professor Amit Sahai, who is one of the very well-renowned cryptographers in the world, has done some foundational work in zero knowledge proofs. And his advisors were the inventors of zero knowledge proofs, Shafi Goldwasser and Silvio Micali. And at that time, I got a great opportunity to work on some very interesting projects, foundational projects, and publish some papers in tier 1 conferences, etc. And after that, I worked on a few Web 2 projects. And that's around the time when zero knowledge proofs started seeing some initial level of adoption in Web3 through Zcash, through the beginning of the MENA protocol. And that's when I joined the MENA protocol. And I worked on the MENA protocol pretty much from the very beginning for about 4 years, building the consensus protocol, building the proof systems, etc. And then I worked on a similar protocol called Midnight, which is a privacy with compliance blockchain protocol. Again, there worked on building up the team, working on the product strategy, the initial implementations of cryptography, etc. And that's around the time, Joestar, when I realized there is a gap in the industry. And the gap in the entire ZK stack is in proof generation, because it is so hard to generate proofs. It is not as easy as signatures, it's not as easy as you can do it on your phone, with changing size of computation, you may need different kinds of hardware, and you may need a lot more hardware than just one hardware to ensure liveness. You may need a sophisticated mechanism designed to ensure good pricing for proof generation, good cost for proof generation, good robustness for proof generation, good latency for proof generation. All this ends up starts becoming a headache around proof generation. And late last year, I realized this and went after this idea, founded Fermah, and built a team. Now we are live on DevNet. A lot of work is happening in the background. We can't wait to announce all of that in the near future, both on the product side, but also on the marketing side. But this gives you a good overview of my history.
Okay, that's awesome. Just to get back about what you said, that you're very excited about ZK solution. I think we lack a bit of content in France about this. Can you explain a bit why do you think that's the future? Why it's important to care about ZK?
So for anyone who has read the Bitcoin white paper, right?
Yeah.
There is a vision Satoshi had, right? There is a vision. And what Satoshi did was a beautiful, ingenious V1 of the solution. She or he or they gave a V1 of the solution. And V1 solutions always are behind the final vision. It's just a V1. They are always behind the final vision. But what's the final vision? Final vision is mass verifiability. No bank decides how much money you have. Everybody can if you tell them I have this much money in my account, everybody can verify, and people around the world can take part in making that happen through a consensus protocol, right? That's the vision. Mass verifiability is not possible in Bitcoin because of the amount of data you need to have to verify transactions. And this is where scale doesn't happen, right? You again you're backpedaling on your goal of decentralization, because as the blockchain grows, higher is the amount of data, smaller is the set of people who can verify. Again, you're getting closer and closer to centralized systems. That's not what Satoshi wanted. They gave a V1, but it lacked. What did it lack? Mass verifiability, technology to achieve mass verifiability. What is the technology to achieve mass verifiability? ZK. It is the technology to achieve mass verifiability. Ethereum, being one of these chains that really looks into the future, has embraced this so dearly that has a ZK-centric roadmap, all the more so even recently, right? Very, very ZK-centric, because it can solve scalability. And Solana is following suit, and in various dimensions. This is why ZK. This is the missing piece that takes us from V1 to the vision. That's why ZK is important.
Okay, and where Fermah have this place in this world? What Fermah can offer?
Yeah, so ZK is hard. That's a great question, because ZK is hard to do. Proof generation is something you have to break your head against in the absence of Fermah. You want to go from V1 to the future, you want to make it easier. We want to make it easier. You don't have to worry about proof generation. Figure out your proof system. Even we can help you figure out your proof system, because we are a credible, neutral testing ground. You can test on us and choose your proof system, choose your hardware configuration, etc. And you don't have to worry about proof generation at all. This is our role. We want to make this as seamless a journey from V1 to the future for various chains, not just Ethereum, not just Bitcoin, not just Solana, for any chain, Mina, for any chain, to embrace ZK so easily.
Okay, and that could you accept some I don't know, Web2 not project, but Web2 statues that want to prove something? I don't know, like a government data that want to have ZK proof or something like this. Yeah, you do?
Yeah. Oh, do I know of existing solutions of ZK that are widely used on the?
I mean, can you accept Web2 solution also, or just Web3, just chains?
Oh, Web2 solutions also. We don't care. Anyone who wants proofs, we can generate proofs for them. Anybody, just anybody. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. And what's the incentive for anyone to use Fermah?
For anyone, what do they care about? They care about three things: cost, time, and security. Security mostly comes from the kind of proof systems you choose. It should be sound, etc. And our system has to be robust. The cost and time, we believe we are the best. Why? Because our tech is so tight. There are no parts of the workflow of proof generation where time is wasted. And we generate proofs fast by deploying the right kind of hardware on the supply side. Whatever people care, we deliver. That's the right incentive. And we are a team that is ultra passionate about ZK, and I think working with a team like this is an amazing bet any day.
Because Fermah is like a big marketplace with GPU, FPGA for proof generation, right? So it's clear there is some competition to push the price down for proof, or no?
It is needed. You need
needed.
competition. Yeah, mechanism design should involve some element of competition on the supply side to push the cost down.
Okay. And from a user perspective, because your client are mostly chains and things like this, from a user perspective, what can that change for anyone, any users?
What can the existence of Fermah do for them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Before Fermah's existence, they would have a band-aid solution to proof generation, maybe a local network of provers who probably are not incentivized, or who probably are incentivized in a naive manner, only because they have business requirements they have other business priorities. This building a proof market in a rigorous manner is not these chains' main goals, right? For example, a ZK rollup, it has user acquisition, building the entire stack, great user experience, building the right kind of sequencing, etc. There are so many other business priorities. They can't focus on this, and to the extent that is needed to build an amazing solution. And this is why Fermah exists, and the difference it makes to these parties is that they don't need to have a band-aid solution anymore. The moment they have a proof request, they send the proof request, we generate proof, send it back, all the headache in the background, and we are a universal proof market. That is the way to go, because it helps you reduce cost when you are a universal proof market, because you actually are giving more work to the supply nodes, because you're getting diverse demand. More work means happier supply, means better cost of compute, means better price of proof generation, cost of proof generation. We are building the universal proof market. Any chain does not need to worry about proof generation. This is the new world with Fermah.
Okay. And all this marketplace of GPU and FPGA, is this permissionless? And I always wonder, what is the minimum requirement to generate a proof?
This is not permissionless today. Soon we are looking to open it up to a wider participation, and stay tuned for announcements. And the current requirements, so currently we are running different kinds of proofs, but majority of proofs are Grot 16 or smaller proofs, basically, that are meant to test out the system. And when we have customers coming to us to test out our system, there are these small bursts of time where we generate different kinds of proofs.
Okay. I
and for
understand.
these different kinds of proofs, you have different kinds of requirements on the hardware. For Grot 16, it's very minimal. A bunch of 4-core CPU is great. So, but things will change very soon.
Okay. You named Grok 16. Can you name a bit all the solutions that you can accept, and maybe some names? Because as I told you, we don't talk a lot about ZK. So if you got some names of projects that build this and that can come to Fermah, that would be awesome.
Sure. So there are 3 categories of proof systems. One is these custom circuits like Grot 16 circuits, etc. The other category is ZKVMs. We support pretty much all ZKVMs. There are a few more in the pipeline that are also getting integrated, but imagine Fermah to be a place to generate proofs for any ZKVM. And that includes Joule, RISC0, SP1, Lita, ZKM, etc. And the third category is ZK EVMs. A lot of work is going on in the background. We will soon publish that we are supporting a lot of ZK EVMs also.
Okay, that's awesome. And Fermah is AVS, right? You use Eigenlayer as a security. How Eigenlayer play its role in Fermah ecosystem architecture? Sorry.
So, like I said, what do people care about? People care about robustness of proof generation, right? They give a proof request, needs to get generated. Liveness guarantees. They need liveness guarantees. How do we give them liveness guarantees? Because we are not generating proofs. We are not the ones who are this centralized AWS that is generating proofs. That's not what we are doing. Instead, we are delegating proofs to the right machines on the supply side, and it's a marketplace. How do you make sure that the supply side behaves per their commitment? Let's say somebody on the demand side says, I want this proof to be done in the next 2 minutes. I'm willing to pay this much money, and you deploy your hardware that can do it. But how do you know this hardware is going to do it? The way you would incentivize this hardware to do it is by having that hardware stake some amount of money. And if they don't behave per their commitment, then you slash them. This is where that security is required. This is where that staking is required. And Eigenlayer and Fermah, in this regard, are two pieces of a puzzle. We needed X and they gave X. So it's a very clear piece of the puzzle we needed in building Fermah. So we are very excited to partner with Eigenlayer in building.
Yeah, Eigenlayer make a lot of sense to me. You said you are actually in DevNet, and when can we expect Mainnet? I don't know if you have a date or just no reason. And what's on the roadmap of Fermah?
Mainnet in a matter of few months is what we're thinking. Nothing out in public yet, but official announcements should go out. What are the milestones? Milestones for Fermah 2025 is going to be a huge year for Fermah for the following reasons. One is that we are building so much in the background that we can't wait to tell that to public, and that is going to happen in 2025, early 2025. And all these milestones that we would hope to have, right? Testnet, mainnet. I think we will get so close to it, if not reach those milestones in 2025. And super excitedly, I think our proof market will have exactly what the customer wants in terms of a very lean orchestration mechanism for proof generation, because they care about cost and time. If you care about, if you want to deliver good on cost and time, you have to have a very lean orchestration and very efficient orchestration mechanism, and a strong mechanism design to support it. And that's exactly what we are building. And I think we are very confident we are building the best.
Okay, that's awesome. Can you explain what's the ZK proof life cycle for someone? You know, I'm a user. I just send a transaction to a L2 that is ZK VM that use Fermah. How, from that moment to the end, what does it look like?
Great question. I think it's good to have a bird's eye view here. Think of transactions getting batched. Let's take an example of an L2. Think of transactions getting batched into a batch where there are, let's say, 100 transactions. And this batch comes to Fermah. You see a proof. The proof goes either to a callback that you already specify, or a person who requested. You just send the proof to them. That's all. It's a very simple workflow. A lot happens in the background. Nobody needs to worry about. That's the life cycle of. So you send a batch. You need a proof that this batch of transactions are correct. You send it. We generate a proof. We send the proof back. That's all. That's for an L2, but there are other situations where you might send a transaction that your identity is correct. You're about 21 years of age, depending on the credentials that you have, and the proof is corresponding to that. So it's a slightly different explanation. However, the invariant is that you send the data required to generate proof, out comes the proof. That's all.
Okay. And is the vision of Fermah is like becoming this very big marketplace for all the world, where every chain and every Web2 solution just ask a ZK proof? That's how you see the future?
Absolutely. We want, here is my vision, right, Joestar? 3 years ago, we couldn't have imagined the amount of ZK advancement we have today. 3 years from now, I think it's going to be even further exponential, because it's compounding, exponentially compounding. And I think there will be an inflection point where the entire world just embraces ZK. I think we are putting all these pieces of the puzzle, and then it becomes so easy to embrace ZK, and so valuable to embrace ZK. Things can become more efficient. Who doesn't love efficiency? Who doesn't love saving money? Who doesn't love speed?
Yeah.
So you put all these pieces to the puzzle together now. That's what we are doing. And then I think there will be inflection point. The whole world embraces. Fermah has to put in the background. People should not even know Fermah exists. You and I don't know that HTTPS is getting done. You and I don't know signatures are getting done. Nobody should know Fermah is sitting in the background. The whole world can become verifiable wherever it needs to become verifiable. Pretty much everywhere we need it to become verifiable, because there's communication. The whole world can become verifiable through the power of ZK.
And what's the finish? Yeah. Sorry.
No, just that one sentence. Fermah wants to take part in enabling that.
And what's the ZK use case you're the most excited about? What you want to see coming to Fermah? What's exciting you the most?
I have a lot of favorite use cases. ZK-TLS is one of my favorite use case, where you prove, like I can go and prove to somebody that I talked to Joestar today, right? That's ZK-TLS, really? Right?
Okay.
Yeah, you can prove something on something that happened on the HTTPS, right? On TLS, right? That's ZK-TLS. That's one example. I'm very bullish about also. Here is an example that I very recently thought about, and I think many people have thought about it, and that is where different entities don't talk to each other because they are very careful about what information, what business critical information they reveal to the other party. Like two banks, yeah. You are a bank, I'm a bank, yeah. And and you see a lot of fraudsters, I see a lot of fraudsters. Many a times, the same person is doing fraudulent activity both on your system and on my system. If we share that information together, then we can save a lot of money for each other, because frauds cost a lot of money to banks. And we are not able to, because I don't want to tell you who my customers are. You don't want to tell me who your customers are. But if we use an advanced protocol that involves a lot of technology, but ZK can enable it, a cryptographic protocol powered by ZK, which can help us know exactly the subset of an intersection of parties in our databases that are doing potentially fraudulent activities, then I think it can save a lot of money to people. Private set intersection is another technology that is needed here for people who are technically bent. They would point that out, but I think ZK will also enable something like this in a very significant manner. So that's another use case. I think there are very cool use cases where you actually see money being saved. You actually see efficiency being brought in. These are just mind-bogglingly in your face saying that this is ZK is the way. I love those examples, use cases.
But for now on, like optimistic roll-up are dominating. They are thinking about moving to ZK. But when do you think ZK is enough ready to be anywhere? Everywhere. Sorry.
Yeah. There are certain checkboxes to check off for the entire role to use it. So we are generating proofs. We are working with customers where proof systems are potentially already in a good audited level. There are other proof systems where they need to go through these. They have done huge strides. However, there are certain important steps they need to take before people put their assets at stake, where they're secured using these ZK proof systems, and they are a rigorous proof of security on their soundness, a rigorous formal verification on the implementation being semantically equivalent to whatever this specification was, a thorough audit. These I would say these three are very important steps for a proof system to, these are the checkboxes for them to check to say, take it, use it. And I think chains, there are experiments on chains using these proof systems. And I think in a matter of time, they should check these boxes. And that is when I think much wider adoption makes more sense.
Yeah, definitely. If we can get a bit into technical details, I follow a lot of your interview with, there is a debate, ZK VMs versus ZK circuit, and you are every time there. It's really technical. It's hard for me to follow, but yeah, if you can explain quite simply what this debate is about.
Yeah, the debate is very simple. I think my thesis is extremely simple, and that is how the world works. The world works by saying, let's take Uber as an example. Uber Uber uses Google Maps. It uses maps. Maps is a very core component of Uber. It needed to get the product out, and what it did was it didn't put a team aside for months to a year for them to build maps. Instead, what did it do? To Google Maps, and it said it's not the best solution. It doesn't have the right APIs. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles and features for me to make a beautiful product, but I can get started. I can take it to market. That's what they did. And then what did they do? They didn't sit around. They put together a team and they have their own maps. They don't use Google Maps, and they have their own maps, right? Why? Because they care about building a great product. They care about saving minutes, even seconds for people on finding the exact way. You know whether the driver is on the other side or on this side. You know the pace at which they're coming. You know so many things. The bells and whistles they had to put in, they put in. They took the time. They built out an amazingly huge team that built this out. Same thing will happen. What I'm saying is, Web3 is no different. You're not changing the core fabric of how the society works in Web3. Web3 will work just like in Web2. It'll start with a very, very generic solution that'll help you get your product off the ground, ZK VMs, but then they will specialize through custom circuits. That was my main point. Did that make sense?
Yeah, but I don't make sense about so you're on the side of ZK circuit, but how does that link you to Fermah? Because on Fermah you just accept everything, right?
We accept everything. So I went on a pod the other day, and they thought I work on Fermah works on custom circuit. We don't work on custom circuits. No, we don't. They actually wrote that in the introduction. But very interesting. This is how this. It's very natural that they did it, because I think what happens in our industry is that you want to talk about things that you're building, and you want to completely shill your product, but we are taking a completely different approach, organically a different approach. You know why? Because we care about moving from that V1 to the end vision. That's what we care about. That'll mean we have to ask tough questions. That'll mean we have to say uncomfortable truth, which I'll say, it's not that I have bags here or there. It's just that I truly believe that this is how the world will go. And what it sparked is a good amount of conversation. People clarified in their minds what people who had stopped thinking about custom circuits started rethinking about custom circuits. It did spark a useful debate. And I think I aim to do this over and over again. Every time I see something that I believe is different from the trend, there are two possibilities, right? One, I don't see anything that will contradict my thesis where, oh no, okay, at least someone will also start thinking like me. Great. Possibility number two, I'll start changing my thinking. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody makes a statement. Aha, I hadn't thought about it. Okay, I'm wrong. I accept. Totally me. I happy to accept that. That's possibility two. Again, great. I'm just furthering my understanding on how to go from where we are to the vision. So again, great. So to your question, we are not doing it out of any ulterior motive for Fermah, this debate or any other content that I might put out. I think it is with the goal of highlighting how we think the industry should go, really taking part in a core manner in this journey.
Okay, I understand. And for ZK rollups that use Fermah, are they automatically decentralized as the prover is decentralized on Fermah?
On the prover, yes.
On the prover side, yeah, of course. Okay, I'm starting to like a question. Is there some subject I didn't mention you want to talk about?
I think. I think I might give a shout out. Actually, I might give a call to action. So people are welcome to check out our website. People are welcome to DM me if they have an amazing profile and they are passionate about ZK and want to work with us. There are multiple roles that we have openings. And people are welcome. There's a form in each opening. People can apply over there, and feel free to follow us on Fermah account. Feel free to follow me on my account. I try to push out content on ZK, educational content on ZK.
Awesome.
So people who are interested are welcome to follow.
Okay. Just one question. What would be your advice to someone that want to understand more what is Fermah or just ZK in general?
Yeah, sure. I think there for ZK in general, there is a beautiful video by Professor Amit Sahai done by Wired, where Professor Sahai explains ZK at various levels of complexity, starting from 5-year-old to a teenager.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's an amazing video. And for someone who wants to dive deeper, I think there are MOOCs. Professor Bonnet has a lot of amazing talks, and he's just an amazing teacher in general. So any video from Dan Bonnet, I would go and watch. And he did a series of 3 videos where he explained proof systems. I think for someone technical and wanting to get really deep into technical aspects, I think people should check out those 3 videos by Professor Dan Bonnet. Happy to send the links after this call. You can send it to your viewers. And regarding Fermah, go to our website, have a chat with us publicly on Twitter, ask questions. Happy to brainstorm.
Okay, just one small question. Because you work in MENA before, so I think you have a lot of experience in Web3. What will be your advice to a young investor or just someone that want to learn about crypto in general?
I think start using crypto.
Yeah, that's the first step.
Yeah, because then you'll see actually the user experience isn't that great in crypto even now. It's so hard. Even for me, it's so hard. And I think you'll end up, so you know what happens when you start using it? Same thing happened to me when I was working on MENA protocol, when I was working on Midnight protocol, I saw gaps. When you start becoming part of the system, either as a user or as a builder, you start seeing gaps. And that is what you can then dedicate your life in filling. The first step to get into crypto, if you're just an enthusiast, of course, read about things, watch podcasts, etc. But the more important thing is to try to use crypto and find gaps and further your journey in there.
Okay, awesome advice. All right. Thanks a lot, Vanishree. That was really great.
Thank
we
you.
Appreciate you coming. And yeah, I hope you the best for the mainnet and everything.
Thanks, Joestar. This was fun.
See you.